the focus 5 is a way of sharing and showing different ways to focus, different things that you can focus on in order to use art that can be helpful for you. So actually, like regulate, activate, express, explore, and empower, they're the 5 things that I kind of consider to be like ways that people can work with art and other methods of creativity. So some it would apply for writing as well, and for music, lots of different things like that. And the idea of that is that it doesn't always have the same focus depending on how you're feeling, where you're at emotionally, where you're at physically, how much energy you have, whether you are sort of by yourself or whether you're with people. It can be really different. So starting with sort of using art for emotional regulation. So the window of tolerance here, like, has anyone heard of the window of tolerance? Like, you could just know. So the idea of this is that we all have ups and downs that happen during the day, and there's certain things that might be annoying, certain things that might kind of trigger and cause like ups and downs naturally, and we all have a certain capacity to deal with stress and to deal with kind of frustrating things, a bit like, say, and things that might affect us emotionally. So sometimes there might be one thing that is really upsetting, and one day you might kind of be less upset by that. Another day you might be more upset by that. And that would be like dependent on how big your sort of tolerance for distress is, like how big your stress tolerance is. And it's sort of a capacity thing as well. So if you've got if you're really tired, for instance, you might have a really, really small window of tolerance. But if you're kind of in a really good space, then your tolerance might be bigger. If you've been through certain experiences, then lots of different reasons why your window of tolerance might be reduced. And the idea of like the way that we can use art to help with that is that sometimes you might be up here and sort of really maybe anxious, really feeling like a sense of anxiety, aggravated, and your energy might be like this. Other times you might be down and feel more sort of flat, more kind of more shut down. And depending on where you are, you might want to use art to either energize you or to calm yourself down. So if you were wanting to do something, you're maybe feeling quite sad or quite flat or quite tired, then doing something where you're drawing really fast or even drawing with both hands can be a way of boosting your energy and feeling more energized. Standing up to draw can be a good way of doing that. It's not always easy, but that's kind of thinking about that. And like doing some doodling can be a really good way of feeling calmer. Doing some different art can affect you in different ways with that. So using art as a means of behavior activation. So often when people feel down, when people are feeling depressed, or people are feeling kind of maybe grieving something or whatever it is, then I'm feeling kind of like anxious as well. Doing the thing, like we know what's going to be helpful, but we can't always do it. It's not always easy to do it. So being able to schedule and specifically kind of plan something in to kind of go, right, I'm specifically going to do something to activate my energy, to boost my mood. I'm going to specifically go for a walk with the intention of boosting my mood, or specifically play a song that I like play a particular song, or I'm going to like plan to do like 5 minutes of my artwork, specifically with the plan to have that routine so it boosts my mood. And that can be tricky sometimes, because if you don't feel like doing it, it might take discipline, not motivation. But that can be a really good way of bringing art in. And expression. So being able to, like, self-expression, there's so much that can be talked about with this, but I think this is the one that people are most aware of, really, where making a piece of art that's expressing like how you're feeling, kind of a thought about a particular topic, like maybe something that's come up for you, that kind of maybe getting some of your feelings down on paper, like that scrambled head is about expression. And then some of these pictures are some of the ones that I've made, which are purely about like more of a bit of a embodied image, like that's holding on to feelings rather than a picture of something. So these are some images that I created relating to my own personal health, and it's very much about that kind of the energy of it. So, and a sensory experience. So sometimes people prefer to use paint or clay compared to sort of pens and pencils and things like that. Sometimes people find like using clay and using like wet materials kind of challenging for themselves. But the idea of this is that um touching the materials and touching the art can be a really good way of connecting the sensory experience and the touch, which then is maybe the first part, rather that, and then that can connect to emotions as well. So we're looking at sort of different ways of exploring and expressing like ideas. So like there was a picture of I created this picture of a puddle, and then at one point asked some friends what they saw in the puddle, and they were telling me, oh, I saw like a rabbit riding a bike, and then I saw like a kangaroo with the baby in his pocket, and then I saw a rabbit and a goldfish. And it's just I love the fact that so many different people saw different things, and that's what you can see like happens in art sometimes. That and that's what our brains are like sometimes, that what we say, the words that we say, can be seen really differently by different people, and like we can have a different perspective at different times. So being able to make a piece of art can help us to see the world in different ways, and we can use different symbols, different ideas together.